I just had a 48 card order of Gundam bulk come through for $8.30, and I'm going to show you how I ship these types of orders out with plain white envelopes. So I've got a convenient even number here. I learned a lot of these tricks from Rob at RNG Games and TJ Pokepaster. One thing about Gundam cards is that they're a little bit thicker than Pokemon cards. You're not going to be able to see it in the video, but imagine thicker with an extra C in there. So Rob will do 3 stacks of 30 when he's shipping out cards. I mean 3 stacks of 10 when he's shipping out cards, plain white envelope. With Gundam, Union Arena, and One Piece, I prefer to cap that out at about 8. So this order is actually perfect. 48 cards, 2 plain white envelopes. That gives me 3 stacks of 8 cards in each envelope. And so what I do is I print 2 packing slips. And I'm going to write on each one, package 1 of 2, package 2 of 2. And then I am actually going to mark on each packing slip which cards are in the package, because when people send me cards in multiple packages, often they will send them in a way where I can't tell which, I can't start matching up cards to see how far along they are until I get both packages, and I just don't like that as a consumer. So I always pack my cards in order with the packing slip. It makes it easier to verify that all the cards are there, both for me and for my customer. And so, customer service is reducing friction and reducing the work that your customer has to do and increasing your convenience that you provide to them. That is going to help you generate a higher number of positive reviews faster, and that will help you grow your business faster. And so any of these little things that you can do to just slightly improve the customer service and the customer experience, they're often worthwhile. It takes you just a little bit more time to have it organized in such a way that they can clearly see what is and is not in there. And so, like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 stacks of 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I have these sleeved in my bulk boxes. I'm starting to switch to not storing at least commons and uncommons like bulk in sleeves, because I'm switching to Chaos, but these all came out of my legacy inventory. So I just pull the sleeves, no sleeves at all. I mean, these cards are thick, so 8 of these stacked up on top of each other inside a team bag, it's not going to bend, barring some crazy circumstance that would end up bending a top loader too. So I've got 8 cards. And then I'm going to stick these in a top loader, or in a team bag. Seal it up. And then I'll fold that down so it's nice and tightly packaged. And then I'm going to tape this into place with these thermal labels that I have here that are super cheap. And I'm going to fold up the packing slip. And then just repeat that with the rest of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And yeah, as an extra step, I may go in. I'm doing a small enough volume at this point that I can go in and I can just message the customer and say, hey, I sent this order out in 2 packages. They may or may not arrive on the same day. I've got each one marked with which cards are contained in the package, so you can easily match it to the packing slip. After both arrive, please let me know if you have any questions or anything that needs to be addressed. Cheers and thanks for buying some cards from me. Something like that. Just a nice message. That's going to go a long way. Communication. People appreciate communication. Maybe is purgatory. Everybody hates a maybe. The idea like maybe these cards are going to come to me, maybe they're not. It happens to me. Like I know for a fact sometimes, not often, but I know for a fact sometimes I'll buy an order of cards and I won't be meticulous about checking the reviews because I don't always, especially for like cheap cards and bulk and stuff like that. I don't always check the reviews. Sometimes I just fill my cart and make the purchase because I just don't think about it. It's dumb, but it happens. And then, a couple weeks later, still no cards. I'll go look, check the reviews, and I can see that the seller has a reputation for not fulfilling large orders of bulk cards, that they just will mark the order shipped and then not ship it out and blame the post office. And that allows them to avoid getting penalized for canceling orders by TCGPlayer. And then so they avoid the penalty and they don't have to put in the work to actually ship out the order. And then that just ends up with a disappointed customer. And I mean, I've ordered enough cards now from other sellers that like I've received some just really poorly packaged stuff. And it's like the bar is so low. It is so low to just get the right cards in the right condition to people with safe packaging. And plain white envelope is safe packaging. And putting all these cards in without sleeves, it's just fine. That's how they come in the booster pack. Nobody complains about cards coming in booster packs without sleeves on them. And rarely, I find, do people complain, at least for me, never actually in my experience, but I see it on other stores. So just rarely do people complain about cards, especially cheap cards, not being sleeved. It's a little bit different if this was going to be a large order of something more valuable. If it was all illustration rares or something like that, the order would be more expensive, and so I would put tracking on it. But $8 worth of bulk cards, I'm not going to worry about it. So I've got package 1 assembled here. So once I have the team bags all taped up, I use these window mailers. So I just fold it up in 3 and tape it down. Tape each one down. So that they don't move around in the envelope. And then I'll tape them across just to keep them from shaking around. And this is what it looks like. So I've got these all taped into place. I'm holding it vertical. They're not going anywhere. So they're not going to get shaken around or anything like that inside the envelope. So then I'll just fold it up, put it in the envelope, fits in there, no problem. Seal it up. And that'll be good to go. So I weigh it before I put my stamps on it. This is 2.4 ounces, basically. So I'm going to put a non-machinable and then 2 additional ounce stamps on it. Some folks will say that you don't need to put a non-machinable. I order cards in large quantity like this that come in PWE that don't have non-machinable on them, so it's probably fine. I just put it on there for extra good measure because I personally have had some stuff rejected for non-machinable, so I'm going to do a non-machinable stamp, which looks like this. Usually it's going to have that butterfly on it. And then 2 additional ounce stamps. I have been told that the non-machinable covers up to 2 ounces, but I've also been told that sometimes it only covers up to 1 ounce, and the post office people, clerks, can't seem to get their information on that straight. So I treat it as if it only covers 1 ounce, and then the additional ounce stamps each cost like 29 cents. So the non-machinable stamp costs $1.31, and the additional ounce stamps each cost like 29 cents. So it's like altogether I'm spending $2 on postage per envelope, so $4, a little bit less than $4 on postage, compared to shipping it with a bubble mailer and tracking and spending basically like $6. So I'm saving $2 on this $8 order. It's still not going to be like a ton of profit margin after the shipping, but every little bit of margin counts when you're moving bulk, and it's the difference between these bulk orders being worth it or them not being worth it. I don't usually get 48 cards in a bulk order. It's usually like 24, but I have set my price floor at 20 cents, and I use these methods for shipping to protect my margins and allow me to even ship large orders like this safely, or my worst case scenarios are a really large order or an order of 1 card. In both cases, I'm protected and I will turn a profit on the cards as long as I protect my buying prices and my selling prices, and I ship wisely. So I just do the same thing with the other package. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I will mark which cards are in here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, this just makes it easy for the person to just open the package, confirm that everything they wanted is in there, and then go in and mark the order as complete. As opposed to what frequently happens to me for some reason, even though TCGPlayer requires you to add the packing slip to the order when you ship it. All the time I get people shipping me orders that don't have the packing slip in them, and then I order a lot of cards, and so I have to go back and figure out, okay, which of these orders were fulfilled, which ones were not fulfilled, and I have to remember which packages did I get and which packages did I not get. That's pretty frustrating, and in some cases that is enough because there's so many good people to buy from little inconveniences like that for me are enough for me to mark some of these sellers as like, I'm not going to buy them from them again, because just to have trying to resolve what's in the package with what I ordered, it adds friction to processing that order. And so I just choose, I would rather not buy from them. Also, like, I've had orders shipped with like the cards wrapped in the packing slip, where the packing slip then isn't, like, I can't use it. I still have to go, even though the packing slip is in there, I can't actually reference it because it's destroyed after I unwrap the cards. And so all of these little inconveniences, I try to avoid doing them to my customers because they frustrate me when it happens to me. And I don't want my customers to have any reason, if I can avoid it, to be frustrated with me, because I want to have a reputation for delivering a stellar shopping experiences for my buyers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2. Everything's here. And yeah, just these little things, there's so many people selling cards. Cards are a commodity product. And anytime that you are selling a commodity product or service, you only have a couple ways that you can differentiate yourself. And one of the main ways is the buying experience. If your buying experience is above average, then you are going to earn a larger number of repeat customers. And when you can increase the ratio that you have of repeat customers, then that drives down the costs associated with getting orders to come in, because it costs less to sell stuff to the same customer multiple times than it does to sell always to new customers, 100% of the time. Now, it may not seem like that. If you are only selling on marketplaces, you might think, oh, it costs me the same amount to sell to somebody multiple times versus selling to them just one time, because the fees are fixed. But that's where, if you intend to scale this and you build on another platform, you build your own website, you build other avenues that you can sell on, that's where your customer acquisition cost, your CAC, will drive down with repeat orders, because the means by which you acquire your customers, which may be on the marketplaces like eBay and TCGPlayer, and then they discover that you have a website somewhere else, or they discover, they recognize your name from the packaging or something, and they find you on YouTube or something like that, and they start buying from you on your website, then future orders from them will come in at a lower acquisition cost per order, as their LTV, their lifetime value, which is the amount of money that they spend with you over the lifetime of the relationship that they have with your business, that will continue to increase. And so as your CAC decreases and your LTV increases per customer, then that strengthens the health and position of your business in the long run. And so that's where these little things matter. When you are selling a commodity product or service, your customer service is one of your key differentiators and the shopping experience. And so in the case of trading cards, making sure that how you pack and ship your orders, what the opening experience is for the customer, the more that you can do to optimize that within the terms of service of the platform. I can't add a slip in here that drives people to a website. So there's very limited things that I can do with it, but because of how I chose my brand name, it's very distinct. It's very easy to find it on another platform or to recognize it if they were to see it. Then that increases the odds that just by me doing my thing and making sure that I have a presence on social media and stuff like that, eventually I'll get some cross-pollination, and people will eventually it'll drive traffic to a website and stuff like that, and I can experience the benefits. And then, while we're talking about it, the other main thing, or one of the other ways that you can improve the customer experience for your buyers to differentiate yourself in a commodity market, is with the actual shopping experience when they're actually looking for stuff. Like, One thing in particular about TCGPlayer that I do not like, that makes it hard for me to buy from anybody, is the fact that it is very difficult to filter a store down to what reverse holofoil Pokemon cards they have in stock at a given moment. Same with like trying to find cards drawn by a specific artist. You know, I am a big fan of Shinji Kanda. Shinji Kanda has illustrated like 20, somewhere between 20 and 30, I think, Pokemon cards. They're beautiful. They're my absolute favorite cards. And if I just type in Shinji Kanda in TCGPlayer, it'll pull up his cards. It doesn't pull up all of them, but it'll pull up, you know, a lot of them. But then if I click on a seller and I want to buy all the Shinji Kanda cards in their store, I have to look up his portfolio of cards one by one, because I can't type Shinji Kanda into the search bar on a specific storefront and have it filter down to just the cards that were drawn by Shinji Kanda. Also, the Gundam card that Shinji Kanda has illustrated in set number 5, Freedom Ascension, he illustrated Master Asia. It's a beautiful card. That doesn't come up when I type his name in on TCGPlayer. And so, you know, solving that problem for your customers, allowing them, building a filtering system on your website that allows them to filter down to the way that they collect or the way that they buy. You can get creative with it. You can add filters for artists. You can add filters for reverse foil, hollow foil, etched cards, signature cards, stuff like that. Just beyond the basic stuff. You can add a filter for Pokemon cards that feature multiple Pokemon. You can add collections and filters for like specific decks. So like the Dragapult EX deck, you could pull up several different variations of what that deck is built with. You can make a collection in Shopify that just surfaces those cards, and someone can just shop and add them all to their cart. That's going to drive up your average order value and therefore drive up your average lifetime value. And if you're also reducing your CAC by reselling more orders to the same customers, it's a pretty healthy business. So this is just stuff to keep in mind. Be creative, be resourceful. Don't necessarily take things at surface level. Just because you get an order of a lot of cards, it doesn't mean that you have to ship them all in a single package for $6. You can ship them in 2 envelopes and save $2 on shipping, and then take bulk and turn it into something more profitable. You can stock a marketplace on your own personal website that delivers a better shopping experience than TCGPlayer, and then if you build trust by fulfilling orders well on TCGPlayer and collecting reviews there, and then using that as social proof to increase your conversion rate, so the rate at which your visitors convert from casual browsers into actual paying customers on your website. That's your conversion rate. You can use content and just your history of customer service to increase your conversion rate on your website, and then end up building something that starts out as just a fun little side hustle and scales to a real scalable, sustainable, profitable long-term business that becomes a cash flowing asset for you to own for multiple years. So yeah, that is how I ship out large orders of bulk cards, including for games like Gundam, One Piece, and Union Arena that have thicker card stock. Ship them with a plain white envelope instead of tracking to save a little bit of money and make bulk more profitable. If you have any questions or any topics you want me to cover, let me know in the comments. And if you want to buy some cardboard from me, which I would highly recommend, then visit www.getdkc.com. Something I forgot to mention that I'm adding in right now. It's a good idea to reinforce the ends of the envelope with a little piece of tape. Because when these go through the sorting machines, pretty much all of the envelopes that I have received that have a lot of cards in them as a buyer, they have the ends blown out. And I've never had cards fall out, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. Of course, if you use this method, you're protected because all the cards are in team bags, and the team bags are taped to the packing slip. What I didn't do is tape the packing slip to the envelope. That is something that you could do as well. But I'm just reinforcing the ends of the envelope with some tape to protect it as it goes through the machine. And with that, that should be plenty to get your cards to you. But of course, if you want to test this, place an order of 30 to 60 bulk cards with another seller and see how they ship it. Try a couple, spend $30 to $50 on a couple hundred bulk cards from other sellers that you can just add to your shop and resell, and see the ways that they ship it, and then test out that buying experience for yourself. See how it feels to receive cards shipped in different ways, and then decide what method is going to work best for you. Maybe you could buy 60 cards from me, and I'll ship them to you with this method, and then you can document what that looks like and share with the community and explain, this is what it felt like to receive an order like this, and this is why it does or does not give me confidence in this shipping method. That'd be something crazy that you could do. You buy some cards from me to see if that shipping method will work for you.